My mother ruined my life. So I made sure she ruined her own life with the same lies she told that ruined mine. Was told you guys might like this, so I'm putting I there. Sorry for bad English, it's my first language. Formatting might be wonky thanks to mobile. My mother is a textbook narcissistic parent. Sohan I, at the age of 6, called my family crying because I knew something was wrong and she didn't love me. My mother decided to punish me for ruining her image. She spun this story to my family. I was a pathological liar and I was brainwashed by her mother to ruin her life. She effectively cut me off from my family and from the outside world and made sure I had no internet or cell phone access until I moved out. She prevented me from getting a job and tried sabotaging my efforts to get into college. I went through hell in that house. When I was younger, I retaliated in immature ways, but as I got older, I was very careful with how we talked to her. I only ever told her the truth. Remember, she convinced herself that I was a pathological liar. So if I tell her the truth, she will now think whatever I said is only intended to hurt her. If I say, you should bring an umbrella. Today it looks like rain. She will make a point to not bring one to spite me, and get caught in the rain. If a friend said something similar to what I said, and was genuinely trying to help her, my mom would think that person is her enemy and remove them from her life. She only has nasty people in her life since she's removed herself from everyone who cared. Some examples if you care to read. I would tell her about her friends that were plotting behind her back. She didn't believe me onding out with them even more. They put her name on the payment for an object she doesn't have and has to pay tens of thousands of dollars for. You can't say I didn't warn her. When she had job issues, I would tell her exactly what she was doing wrong and why people don't like working with angry, difficult people. She thought I was trying to hurt her, so she doubled down on her behavior. I hear she's fighting to keep her job. Would suck to be fired right before retirement. You can't say I didn't warn her. She called me looking for advice. Lol, right? She was basically going to fly across the country to go stalk someone, and I told her not to do that. He'll dislike her even more, and he could call the police. I got in touch with her dad and told him to try to stop her. She went because now she was convinced it would work. The poor guy was hiding in his workplace while she was outside crying for him to come outside. You can't say I didn't warn her. I hear she's in therapy now, but it doesn't seem so. Be working much. I can imagine why. It must be a very upsetting experience to have a professional tell you the same lies your pathological liar of a daughter told you. I think this is how you kill someone with kindness. Smiley face TLDR. Abusive narcissist mother convinced herself I was a pathological liar. So I only told her truthful things. Now, whenever people try to help her, she is reminded of me and thinks they're trying to sabotage her. I've ensured my mother ruins her own life with the same lies she told that ruined mine. A shop attendant was mean to me, so I told my mom. This is just a very small story, but this kind of thing happened to me often, so it was satisfying to get back at them. My mother is a wealthy woman, and has a bit of a shopping problem. I don't really like to spend money, and while I earned really well, I still don't have nearly as much, so over 90% of my clothes are her old clothes, from high-end brands. I went to one of those shops to take a look around because I wanted a nice little treat and was looking at skirts and such. For some reason, deterred the shop attendant, and she kept following me around and commenting on how it was probably too expensive to me. Edit. For everything I touched, to be clear. I have been treated badly in high-end stores before, but rarely so blatantly. She didn't even realize that I was head to toe wearing the brand's clothing, albeit in black because I am a bit of a goth, so I left, and called my mom. The next week, when we were in the city, we came to the store, and the Yim immediately recognized us bought me from the week before, and my mother because she usually spent several €100 at that exact location. The attendant got very pale and tried her best to suck up to my mom, but she just said, "Nah, let's go to same store one city over." That Grinch looked like crying when she realized she had alienated one of her best clients. Again, just a tiny revenge, but it was very satisfying. Cold sweat smile. Edit. Before you make another pretty woman comment, at least look at the comments first. My seat is not meant to be your support. I was originally writing this as a comment for another post, but then I remembered this lovely soup exists and I thought I would share with you all. I find myself taking this petty revenge quite frequently, and the whole situation could be avoided if the people involved were slightly more courteous or had respect for those around them. For those of you who fly frequently, this may be an all too familiar situation. Now this usually happens when the person behind you or someone in their row needs to use the bathroom mid-flight. People have started using the back of my seat as a method to pull themselves up out of their chair as opposed to using their own arm rests. They usually pull the seat back 3 to 4 inches due to their leverage and let it go once they are standing. If you're the one in the chair in front of them, This provides you with the sudden unpleasant feeling of your chair unexpectedly rocketing back, followed by a quick reversal launching you forward. A real ick move. 95% of time, the person who does this either does not apologize or is oblivious to their actions. QQ petty revenge. When this happens to me now, I bide my time, waiting for the person's return. Upon their return, but before they sit, I make sure the button that reclines the seat is fully pressed in. The person generally expects the seat is going to provide that some resistance they used to get out of their seat in the first place. Sorry friend, that resistance is gone. Hearing that sweet shocked gasp as fall hard into their seat has been one of the new pleasure I've found in flying. Edit. I see a few of you talking about how you think a disability, injury entitles you to Bangrood. Let me assure you, it does not. A simple apology for an oversight would be sufficient to make me, and most people, think nothing of this. If apologizing for hassling someone else is beneath you, then we will no longer care about your circumstances. If this still hasn't convinced you, let's assume I'm the one with a bad back, neck injury made worse by your actions of using my seat back. Does your injury make mine irrelevant? Edit 2. Alright guys, is it K, Q, or Q? I've been corrected by multiple people in different ways, in #X200B. Try to ruin my marriage? I'll get you fired. This all happened within the span of about 3 months. It all started towards the end of December. This girl at work decided to post and text my husband that I was cheating on him with her baby daddy. Obviously it wasn't true, but she claimed to hobby pictures. She sent it to his brothers and even my mother-in-law. None of the pictures were of me and they had no face or any distinguishing features. That would make it obvious it was me. All of this made my husband doubt me because if someone sends stuff like that you question if it's true or not. This caused a lot of trouble in our marriage, but we talked it out and eventually worked through it. I mentioned she had sent the messages to my mother-in-law. She sent them all at the same time, but I wasn't aware of the messages to my mother-in-law. It wasn't until almost a month later that my sister-in-law messaged me and said she wanted to ask me something. She was afraid I would be mad, but she said someone had sent my mill some nasty messages about me. I immediately knew what she was talking about and asked if it was a certain person. She confirmed that it was, so I explained everything that was happening. I was going to let it go, but when I found out Shahad also messaged Mill, I just got more angry and decided she needed to face some consequences. It is important to note she also posted some nasty stuff about another coworker I'm friends with, so I talked to her and we decided I should report it to her. They did a full investigation in which I gave them screenshots of what she posted and what she sent my husband's family. Some of the things sent were very inappropriate and not something HR would like to be associated with the organization. Fast forward to now, they finally concluded the investigation and found what she did inappropriate and she was fired. I don't feel any remorse for her and I'm glad she got what she deserved, because what she did almost cost me my marriage and mine and my friend's reputation at work. What makes me most happy is that because she was fired over something she did, she won't be able to receive unemployment benefits. Good luck taking care of her family now. Peas. Sorry if the writing isn't up to Reddit standards. Don't like the way I'm running things? Fine, you're getting your rates raised. Context. I am a manager at a dog daycare and do a lot of client front-facing roles. A client before I started working here has 2 UNNEUTERED doodles who basically just stay in a kennel because we can't put them out with the other dogs because one of the dogs is aggressive as hell, and the second one is just stupid humpy. We have our dogs up from 12 to 2 for a nap break and we let his dogs out during this time so they can get their energy out with no other dogs. I already loathe this situation because I believe that no unfixed dogs who are over a year old should be at daycare. About a month ago, the owner yelled at me that had taken one of his dogs to the for dehydration. I make sure their bowls are topped off throughout the day, so there was no way in hell that I did anything. The same dog did have watery diarrhea a couple days earlier, but I had brought it to the owner's attention, which was brushed off. He has disrespected me on several occasions and my boss, while I love her, doesn't want to have to fire clients. I, on the other hand, will gladly ban an aggressive dog or a rude client. He was on the top of my proverbial chopping block, but the owner of the daycare told me to bide my time and we would fire them in May due to some work they're getting done on their house, since no other daycare in my city would ever touch these dogs. So, I waited. I waited until he came at me sideways about something or other. I had talked to my boss and she said that if he disrespected me again, I could take matters into my own hands. The day finally came and he was mad about something or other I had done, so I slammed my hands on the counter and say, "You know what? Your dogs are already putting us liable if they get loose and attack another animal. At this point, we have to either raise your rates to overnight boarding, $85 United States for 2 dogs, or we can let you go as a client. Your choice. He then proceeds to lose his hit at me, yelling that he's going to call my boss and report my asterisk kitty attitude to her. Raising my hands above my head, I say, go ahead. She gave me the okay to bring this to your attention. Flustered and obviously angry, he left and brought this dog's back the next day. True to my word, I charged his card $85 with a smile on my face. He hasn't been back since.